Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of RiesKitchen. In this, our second series, looking at cooking challenges, today we're going to be mastering sweet shortcrust pastry and putting it together in a rhubarb and apple tart. Just lovely. So let's get started on our ingredients. So first up, we have 1.5 cups of corn flour. Being gluten-free, of course, it's corn flour. 1/4 cup of soy flour. 1/4 cup of custard powder, gluten-free. A tablespoon of caster sugar. We're just going to use the white of this 1 egg. 125 grams of butter that's chilled and cubed, and some ice water. And now for the filling. Now, rhubarb, most of you would buy something that looks like that from the shops, but I just want to show for those who don't know what it looks like. I picked this out of my garden about half an hour ago. Beautiful big glossy leaves, but they're poisonous, so we only use the red part of the stalk. We're also going to need 2 eggs, 125 grams of butter, 1/2 cup of regular sugar, a heaped tablespoon of plain flour, in my case gluten-free, and 3 apples. Now for the cooking challenge that is shortcrust pastry, there's a couple of little tips that I just want to share with you, and having the right equipment will make your day a whole lot simpler. The first thing is the tin that you're going to put it in. Today I'm going to be making mini tarts or individual tarts. You can of course make this recipe in a large family size, but what you want is one of the tins that separates. This will make serving much simpler for you. These are 10 centimetre or 4-inch tins, and if you can get the non-stick ones like these, even better. The other thing is we're going to be doing something called blind baking. And for blind baking, you need some baking beads. Now these are ceramic, and if you don't have a whole packet of baking beads, you can use uncooked rice and then keep it, store it in a container and use it again next time you need to blind bake. You'll never be able to cook with it to eat it, but the beads are much easier. Gluten-free pastry, of course, sticks, as we all know. So we will be rolling it in between sheets of baking paper, or if you have a pastry mat, and I have 1 pastry mat and the baking paper. Normal pastry, even still with short crust, doesn't hurt to roll it between sheets of baking paper. So now I think we can get started with making our pastry. So first up, we add all of our dry ingredients in. Custard powder and the sugar. I'm just going to mix that through a little bit. So, for this bit, you just use your tips of your fingers and we rub it until it resembles something that looks a little bit like breadcrumbs. So this looks just about ready, and it's the texture of breadcrumbs. And so we can shake the bowl and grab a lump. We don't want a lump of butter. So now to add our liquid. Now as always with pastry, we don't stir it with a fork or a spoon, we always stir with a knife. So just making a bit of a well. We're going to add our egg white, which I've just given a quick beat. And depending on the humidity of your day will change how much ice water you use. I'm going to pop 2 tablespoons in to start with. Right, it's fairly obvious I'm going to need some more. And now we bring the pastry all together into a ball. And you can see how the custard powder has given it a lovely golden colour. But that's looking pretty good. So now we get to roll. All right, so now we're up to the exciting part, which is the rolling. So I'm going to cut my piece of pastry in half, just to make it easier. Now, with just a little bit, because sometimes it sticks a little bit to my board, just a little bit of corn flour, flatten your dough down, and then, because it's gluten-free, another bit of baking paper on top, and I'm going to roll this into a circle. Perfect, now we can cut them out. Just cutting loosely around the 4 tins. Now with gluten-free, it's always easier to peel the paper away from the pastry, but I obviously can't with the 4/4 on here. So just using my spatula, lift up and then drop over each one. So now, as you can see, for some of them they fit it in absolutely perfectly and some have got a little short edge. So using a sharp knife now, we trim away all the excess. We can patch up the edges if we want, it'll absolutely work. And then this tray goes into the fridge for at least 20 minutes. This is how you prevent your pastry from shrinking. So we chill it back down before we pop it in the oven. So it really is with just a sharp knife, running along the edge and trimming the excess away. So now these can go in the fridge for 20 minutes. So now we're up to the part that is the blind baking. So having taken these out of the fridge, I now get a circle of baking paper. So for my tins, this is 10 centimetres or 4 inch, and I pop it in. And the reason that we are doing this is to stop the bottom puffing up so that we have flat and get a maximum filling. So, handful of beads. So now to pop these into the oven at 200 degrees centigrade or 190 for a fan forced for 15 minutes. Now to finish off the blind baking process, I've taken these out of the oven now and I just need to take the beads out, take the paper off and then pop them back in the oven for another 5 minutes. The beads will be really hot. So back in the oven for another 5 minutes. Okay, so our pastry cases are out now and they're just starting to cool, which is what we need to do, and it's time to make the filling. And the filling happens in 2 stages. First I'm going to beat up what is Stephanie Alexander's burnt butter filling, and then we'll put the fruit in and put it all together. So with our 2 eggs, we just need to beat that with our sugar until it's rich and thick and creamy. So that's gone all pale and frothy and quite thick. So now we just add our flour and beat that a little bit more. That's looking pretty good. Yep. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now we need to burn our butter, and it's exactly how it sounds. So put the butter in a small saucepan. So as this butter melts, it'll start to foam up, and we just need to keep tipping the saucepan a little bit to check the fluid underneath. We want it to go to a beautiful deep golden colour, and when that's ready we can turn the heat off, and that's our burnt butter, and then pop it in with the rest of our mix. Right, that's pretty close. See that deep golden colour? So now our beautiful golden burnt butter, pour in. Quick mix. Oh, that smells so good. So now it's about putting the 3 parts together. So we're going to lay our fruit into our flan tins and then gently spoon some of our mixture over the top. And I've just done some strips of rhubarb as well to go over the top to make it very clear that it's a rhubarb and apple tart. This is the creative bit. So now we just need to spoon carefully our mixture into each pastry tart. And now these go back into the oven, 190 fan forced or 200 convention, for 10-15 minutes until the filling is set. The filling will puff up a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so I've taken these out of the oven about 5-10 minutes ago now, so I can actually hold the casings. So to plate, it's really quite simple. With a piece of paper towel, I'm just going to turn them upside down, and you'll see the sides just come right off. And then just with a blunt spatula or a knife, just get in under the bottom, and that comes off. Look at that beautiful crust. Okay, turning it up. We can now plate that exactly how we want it. Oh, can't wait. And just a little bit of cream. And now, as always, the best bit, the tasting. Can't wait. It's always extra special to eat something that's come out of your garden. Here we go. Oh, the pastry's lovely and crisp. Whoops. It's probably a cheeky big bit, but anyway, until next time everybody, ciao.